Everything you want, everything you dream of, everything you believe is possible or impossible starts in one place, your mind. Your mind is the ultimate gatekeeper to your success, your happiness, and your growth. It's not your circumstances, not your past, not what other people have told you. It's what you decide to believe. But here's the problem. Most people let their minds run on autopilot. They let old fears, past failures, and negative experiences shape their thinking. They repeat the same limiting beliefs day after day, week after week, year after year, until they don't even realize they've built a prison for themselves, a prison made of their own thoughts. Think about it. How often do you catch yourself saying things like, I'm not good at this, I could never do that, I've always been this way, or that's just not for me? These thoughts aren't facts, they're just stories. Stories you've told yourself for so long that they've become your reality. But here's the truth. You have the power to change the story. Look at the most successful people in the world, the ones who rise above challenges, defy the odds, and create extraordinary lives. Were they born with some magical ability? No. The difference between them and everyone else is simple. They took control of their minds. They understood that the thoughts they feed themselves every day shape their future. They refused to let negative beliefs dictate their potential. And you can do the same. Imagine if instead of saying, I can't, you started saying, I am learning. Instead of saying, this is too hard, you said, this is making me stronger. Instead of seeing obstacles as reasons to quit, you saw them as training grounds to build resilience. Because here's the truth. Your brain is wired for growth. Scientists call it neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to adapt, rewire, and strengthen based on what you repeatedly do and think. That means every time you challenge a limiting belief, every time you push past doubt, every time you choose to see possibilities instead of problems, you are physically reshaping your brain to be stronger, more capable, and more powerful. Well, let's be real. Changing your mindset isn't just about repeating some affirmations in the mirror. It's about rewiring the way you experience life. It's about catching those negative thoughts the moment they appear and refusing to let them take control. It's about replacing old patterns with new ones. Thoughts that empower you, fuel you, and push you forward. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people face the same challenge. Maybe they just got rejected from a job, failed at a business, or lost an important opportunity. The first person thinks, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, what's the point in trying? The second person thinks, this is tough, but I'll learn from it, I'll come back stronger. This isn't the end, it's just part of the process. Same situation, two completely different outcomes. One person gives up, the other grows. The only difference? Their mindset. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant and nurture will grow. If you keep feeding it negativity, fear, and self-doubt, that's what will take over. But if you plant seeds of confidence, resilience, and determination, those will be the roots that hold strong when the storm comes. This is why it's so important to guard your thoughts. Be mindful of what you tell yourself. Be aware of the words you use, the beliefs you hold, and the patterns you reinforce. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or holding me back? If it's not helping you, replace it. And don't just stop at changing your thoughts. Change your actions. Because here's the secret. Your brain believes what you do more than what you say. You can tell yourself, I'm confident all day long, but if you never step outside your comfort zone, your mind won't believe it. You have to act as if you already are the person you want to become. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Think about the last time you learned something new, maybe riding a bike, driving a car, or picking up a new skill. At first, it felt awkward, even impossible. But with practice, it became second nature. The same thing happens with your mindset. At first, choosing empowering thoughts feels unnatural because you're breaking old habits. But the more you do it, the more automatic it becomes. This is the essence of a growth mindset. Understanding that your abilities, intelligence, and potential are not fixed. they could expand, they could evolve. And they will if you commit to the process. So the next time you hear that voice in your head telling you you're not enough, that you can't, that it's too late, challenge it, push back. Remind yourself that every great success story started with someone who refused to let their own doubts win. Your mind is the key. Unlock it and everything changes. Life is not designed to be easy. If it were, there would be no growth, no transformation, no evolution. Struggle is the raw material from which greatness is built. Every challenge you face, every obstacle in your path, every moment of doubt or fear, it's all part of the process that shapes you into the strongest, most capable version of yourself. The problem is most people don't see it that way. They see struggle as a stop sign, a reason to give up, an excuse to stay where they are. But those who achieve greatness, those who break through their limits and unlock their true potential, they see struggle for what it really is, an opportunity, a test, a gift. Think about the greatest success stories in history. None of them came from comfort. None of them were handed an easy road. Every one of them faced setbacks, failures, and moments where they could have given up, but they didn't. They used those struggles as fuel. They refused to let pain be the reason they stopped. Instead, they made it the reason they pushed harder. The difference between people who stay stuck and people who rise is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It's mindset. It's the decision to turn struggles into strength instead of using them as an excuse to quit. Most people go through life wishing for things to be easier. They pray for less resistance, fewer problems, a smoother ride. But those who truly grow, those who truly transform, don't ask for an easier life. They ask to be stronger. They ask to be more resilient, more determined, more unstoppable. If you're facing challenges right now, if you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, if you're struggling and wondering how much more you can take, understand this. Struggle is not there to break you, it's there to build you. It's testing you, preparing you, shaping you into someone who is capable of more than you ever imagined. The problem is, too many people let struggle define them in the wrong way. They let failure convince them they're not good enough. They let rejection make them feel unworthy. They let pain convince them they're weak. But pain is not weakness. Pain is proof that you are growing. Think about how muscles are built. You don't get stronger by lifting light weights that are easy. You get stronger by pushing your muscles past their limits, by tearing them down so they can rebuild even stronger. Growth works the same way. If you avoid struggle, you avoid growth. If you avoid challenges, you avoid transformation. The only way to become stronger is to face resistance and push through it. There will be times when you want to quit, times when it feels like nothing is working, times when the struggle seems too big. That is the exact moment when you must push forward. Because struggle is a crossroads. You can either let it define you as someone who gave up, or you can use it to become someone who refused to be defeated. The choice is always yours. Think back to a time in your life when you struggled, but came out stronger on the other side. Maybe it was a personal loss, a failure, a time when everything seemed to be going wrong. In that moment, it felt like the end, but somehow you made it through, and not only did you survive, but you became wiser, tougher, more capable. That's the power of struggle. It forces you to grow in ways you never would have otherwise. But what if instead of waiting for hindsight to show you the value of your struggles, you recognized it in the moment? What if instead of seeing challenges as something to dread, you saw them as a sign that you are on the right path? The truth is, struggle's not a detour. It's not a sign that you should stop. It's part of the journey. In fact, the struggle is often the proof that you are growing, because nothing worthwhile comes without resistance. Success is not about avoiding problems. It's about developing the strength to overcome them. The most powerful people in the world are not the ones who never fail, never struggle, never experience doubt. They are the ones who have been knocked down, broken, beaten, but refused to stay there. They are the ones who took every painful experience and used it to become stronger, smarter, more resilient. So the next time you are faced with a struggle, shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of focusing on how hard it is, focus on how strong you are becoming. Instead of seeing it as something that's stopping you, see it as something that's preparing you for your next level. This is not just about motivation. It's about rewiring the way you see life. Every struggle is an opportunity in disguise. Every challenge is a doorway to growth. Every obstacle is a stepping stone to something greater. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who learned to turn struggle into strength. You have that same power right now. It's not about waiting for the struggle to end. It's about deciding in this moment that you will not let it defeat you, that you will rise, grow, and use it to become the person you were meant to be, because once you learn to turn struggle into strength, nothing can stop you. Everything you believe about yourself, what you're capable of, what you deserve, how far you can go, it's all shaped by the beliefs you've built over time. These beliefs didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were formed by experiences, by the words of others, by past failures, and even by the fears passed down from the people around you. The problem is most of these beliefs were never consciously chosen. They were absorbed, picked up along the way, and accepted as truth. But the real truth, most of them are lies. Somewhere along the way you may have started believing that you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not lucky enough to achieve what you want. Maybe you failed at something once, and instead of seeing it as a lesson, you labeled yourself a failure. Maybe someone told you that people like you don't succeed, that you should be realistic, that your dreams are too big. And without realizing it, you internalize those words, let them shape the way you see yourself. That's the danger of beliefs. They become your reality. If you believe you can't do something, you won't even try. If you believe success is only for other people, you'll never push hard enough to get there. If you believe you're not worthy of happiness, you'll sabotage your own joy. The mind is powerful, and whatever you feed it becomes the truth you live by. But here's the key. Beliefs are not facts. They are choices. And the best part? You can choose new ones. Rewiring your beliefs starts with awareness. You have to catch the thoughts that are limiting you. Pay attention to what you tell yourself every day. What stories do you repeat in your mind? I'm not good at this. I always mess things up. Things never work out for me. These are not harmless thoughts. They are programming your brain to keep you small. But you have the power to rewrite the script. The moment you challenge a limiting belief, you weaken its grip on you. Ask yourself, is this belief actually true, or is it just something I've accepted without question? More often than not, you'll realize that the belief isn't based on reality. It's based on fear, on past experiences that no longer define you, on someone else's opinion that you mistook for truth. And the second you see that, you have the power to let it go. The next step is replacing that old belief with something empowering. If you've been telling yourself, I'm not good at this, change it to, I'm learning and improving every day. If your mind says, I'll never succeed, reframe it to, every step I take gets me closer to my goal. At first, this might feel fake. Your mind will resist because it's used to the old programming. But just like a muscle, the more you reinforce the new belief, the stronger it gets. Think about a child learning to walk. When they fall, they don't say, well, I guess I'm just not meant to walk. No, they get up and try again. Why? Because they haven't developed limiting beliefs yet. They don't question whether they can do it. They just keep going. That's the natural state of human beings. We are wired for growth, for learning, for resilience. But over time, we are taught to doubt ourselves, to fear failure, to believe that struggle means we should quit. It's time to unlearn those lies. One of the most powerful ways to rewire your beliefs is through action. If you've told yourself that you're not a confident person, start acting like one. Stand up straighter, speak with certainty, take on challenges that scare you. The mind believes what you do more than what you say. When you take action, even before you feel ready, your brain starts to rewire itself. You're proving to yourself that the old belief is wrong. There is no magical moment when everything changes overnight. Rewiring your beliefs is a process, but the key is persistence. Every time you choose the new belief over the old one, you're breaking down the old programming and installing a new system, one that works for you instead of against you. Think of the people who inspire you, those who have achieved extraordinary things, who have overcome adversity, who've broken the limits that others accepted. Do you think they never had doubts? Of course they did. But the difference is, they didn't let those doubts become their truth. They chose beliefs that empowered them. And that's exactly what you can do. So ask yourself, what beliefs have been holding you back? What stories have you been telling yourself that no longer serve you? And most importantly, what new beliefs will you choose today? Because the moment you decide to change your beliefs, you change your future. Emotions are powerful. They drive every decision, every reaction, and every result in your life. They determine how you see the world, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately how much success and happiness you create. But the problem is most people don't control their emotions control them. They wake up in a bad mood and let it ruin their entire day. They face a setback and let frustration make their choices. They let fear hold them back, let doubt stop them, let anger cloud their judgment, and then they wonder why they feel stuck. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It doesn't mean pretending that fear, anger, or frustration don't exist. It means understanding that you are in control. It means recognizing that emotions are not instructions, they are signals. They are messages from your brain. And you get to decide how to interpret them, how to respond, and how to use them as fuel instead of letting them become chains that hold you down. The biggest mistake people make is believing that emotions just happen to them. They say things like, I can't help it, I'm just an angry person, or I'm just naturally anxious. That is not the truth. Emotions don't control you, your habits of thought and reaction do. And the second you realize that, you take back your power. Think about a time when something made you angry. Maybe someone cut you off in traffic, disrespected you, or things didn't go as planned. In that moment, your heart raced, your face got hot, your muscles tensed up. But why? Not because of what happened, but because of the meaning you gave to it. Someone cutting you off in traffic isn't actually a big deal. It's the story in your head that makes it feel like one. That person disrespected me. They don't care. People are so selfish. That's what fuels the anger. Change the story and the emotion changes. This is the key to emotional mastery. Understanding that you have the power to shift how you feel in any moment. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control your response. And when you learn to do that, everything changes. Let's talk about fear. Fear is one of the most paralyzing emotions. It stops people from taking action, from chasing their dreams, from stepping into their full potential. But what is fear really? It's anticipation of pain. It's your brain saying, if I do this, something bad might happen. But most of the time, the fear is worse than the reality. Think about how many things you've been afraid of in the past that turned out to be nothing. The presentation that terrified you but went fine. The difficult conversation you dreaded but ended up being productive. The change you resisted but later realized was the best thing that ever happened to you. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a green light. It's a signal that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone, and that is exactly where growth happens. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who succeed is not that successful people don't feel fear, it's that they don't let it stop them. They feel the fear and move forward anyway, and when they do, they realize that fear was just an illusion. Then there's sadness. Everyone experiences loss, disappointment, or moments when life doesn't go as expected. And sadness is natural. But what most people don't realize is that they have a choice in how long they stay in that state. They replay painful moments in their minds over and over, reinforcing the sadness, instead of shifting their focus to what they can learn, what they still have, and how they can grow from the experience. Gratitude is the antidote to sadness. The moment you focus on what you still have, on what is still possible, on what you've learned, your emotions start to shift. And then there's the most destructive emotion of all, self-doubt. Nothing will hold you back more than the belief that you are not enough. Doubt will creep into your mind whenever you try to do something big. It will whisper that you're not ready, that you might fail, that people will judge you. And if you listen to it, it will keep you small. But here's the truth. Self-doubt is just fear in disguise. It's not real. It's a habit, a pattern of thinking. And just like any habit, it can be broken. So how do you master your emotions? First, you have to become aware of them. Pay attention to what triggers you. Notice the patterns. What situations make you anxious? What thoughts make you angry? What experiences make you doubt yourself? The more awareness you have, the more control you gain. Second, challenge your emotions. Ask yourself, is this emotion serving me? If it's not, shift it. Change your physiology. Stand up, move, take deep breaths. Change your focus. Stop replaying the negative and start focusing on solutions. Change your meaning. Reframe the situation in a way that empowers you. Third, practice emotional resilience. Train yourself to bounce back faster. Life will throw challenges at you, but your power comes from how quickly you recover. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who never experience setbacks. They are the ones who refuse to let setbacks define them. You are not your emotions. You are the master of them, and the moment you take control of your life. You can have all the knowledge in the world. You can read every book, attend every seminar, listen to every motivational speech, but none of it means anything without action. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the one thing that separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Most people spend their lives waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the perfect conditions. They tell themselves, I'll start when I feel ready, I'll take action when I have more experience, I'll chase my dreams when life settles down. And before they know it, years have passed, and they're in the same place wondering why things haven't changed. But the truth is, waiting is just another form of fear. There is no perfect moment, there is no magical time when everything will align. The only time is now. Action is what turns dreams into reality. It's what separates the people who talk about their goals from the people who achieve them. Too many people get stuck in analysis paralysis. They overthink, they overplan, they wait until they have every answer before they start. But success doesn't come from knowing everything, it comes from doing something. Clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from taking action and learning along the way. Think about the most successful people in the world. They didn't have it all figured out when they started. They didn't have every detail mapped out. What they had was the willingness to take the first step even when they didn't feel ready. They understood that progress comes from movement, not from standing still. Every great business, every life-changing invention, every incredible transformation started with a single action. Taking action doesn't mean you won't fail. In fact, failure is part of the process. The people who achieve the most in life are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail and keep going. They don't let failure define them. They don't see it as a reason to stop. They see it as feedback, as a lesson, as a necessary step towards success. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is that they need motivation before they can take action. They wait to feel inspired, to feel confident, to feel ready, but action comes before motivation, not the other way around. The moment you start moving, the energy shifts. The moment you take that first step, momentum kicks in. And with momentum comes confidence, clarity, and drive. Look at any area of your life where you feel stuck. Chances are the reason you're stuck is because you're not taking enough action. You're waiting, hesitating, overthinking. But the moment you decide to take action, any action, you break the cycle. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are in control, that you are the one shaping your future. Small actions lead to big results. Too many people make the mistake of thinking they have to make massive changes all at once. But real progress comes from consistent daily action. It's not about taking one huge leap. It's about taking step after step, day after day, until the results become undeniable. When you commit to action, you shift from being a passive observer in your life to being the creator of it. You stop making excuses and start making progress. You stop dreaming and start doing. And that is what changes everything. Because at the end of the day, it's not what you know that matter. It's what you do. Growth is not a destination, it is a lifelong commitment. The moment you stop growing, you start dying. Everything in life is either expanding or shrinking, evolving or stagnating. There is no standing still. The most successful, fulfilled, and unstoppable people in the world understand this truth. Growth never ends. They don't settle, they don't become complacent. They don't reach one goal and decide they've arrived. They know that the secret to a truly extraordinary life is the relentless pursuit of becoming better every single day. Most people live their lives on autopilot. They wake up, go through the motions, and repeat the same patterns day after day. They stop learning, they stop challenging themselves, they stop pushing for more, and then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they feel unfulfilled, why life feels like it's passing them by. The reason is simple. They stop growing. When you stop growing, you lose momentum, you lose passion, you lose that fire inside you that makes life exciting, that makes you wake up in the morning with a purpose. Growth isn't about chasing perfection, it's about becoming the best version of yourself over and over again. It's about refusing to accept limits, refusing to believe that you've reached your peak. No matter where you are right now, whether you're at rock bottom or already experiencing success, there is always another level. There is always more to learn, more to achieve, more to become. The moment you adopt this mindset, your entire world changes. One of the biggest barriers to lifelong growth is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping outside your comfort zone. But real growth happens in discomfort. It happens when you push yourself beyond what feels safe, beyond what feels easy. It happens when you challenge yourself to take on things that scare you, to step into opportunities that stretch you. The greatest achievements, the most powerful transformations come from those moments when you decide to embrace the challenge instead of running from it. Growth requires a willingness to learn. The people who achieve the most in life are students forever. They don't assume they know everything. They seek out knowledge. They ask questions. They surround themselves with people who challenge them to think bigger. They read. They invest in their skills. They constantly upgrade their minds. The second you think you have all the answers, you stop evolving. The second you believe you've arrived, you start declining. But when you commit to being a student of life, when you adopt a mindset of curiosity and hunger for knowledge, you open the door to unlimited potential. Lifelong growth isn't just about learning, it's about applying what you learn. Too many people consume information without ever using it. They read books, watch videos, listen to advice, but they never take action. Knowledge without action is useless. The real power comes when you apply what you've learned, when you put yourself in situations that force you to grow, when you take risks and learn through experience. Growth isn't just about collecting information, it's about transformation. One of the most important lessons in growth is understanding that setbacks are part of the journey. Growth isn't a straight line. There will be failures, there will be challenges, there will be moments when you feel like you're not making progress, but every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger, to learn something new, to develop resilience. The most successful people don't avoid failure, they embrace it. They see it as a teacher, as a stepping stone to the next level. They understand that growth comes from struggle, and they refuse to let obstacles stop them. Surrounding yourself with the right people is a game changer when it comes to lifelong growth. Who you spend time with matters. If you surround yourself with people who are complacent, who don't challenge themselves, who accept mediocrity, that mindset will rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with people who are constantly improving, who push themselves, who expect more from life, that energy will elevate you. Growth is contagious. Find people who inspire you, who challenge you, who push you to be better, and make them a part of your life. At the core of lifelong growth is a mindset of ownership. You have to take responsibility for your progress. No one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to push you, motivate you, or force you to improve. It has to come from you. The moment you take full ownership of your growth, you take control of your future. You stop making excuses. You stop blaming circumstances, and you start creating the life you want. Growth is not easy. It requires effort, discipline, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. But the rewards are infinite. The more you grow, the more opportunities you create. The more you grow, the more confidence you build. The more you grow, the more you experience the depth and richness of life. The choice is simple. Stay the same and stay stuck, or commit to lifelong growth and become unstoppable. The moment you make that commitment, everything changes.